Hello everyone and welcome back to the JP on Comms channel for the second all you need to know video in as many days. Aren't you all a very lucky bunch who are subscribed to this channel? And if you aren't subscribed to this channel, this is maybe your first time here or you're a recurring viewer who is dabbling with the idea, just hit subscribe. You never know, I won't bother you too much. There won't be too many videos in the feed, but hopefully the ones that you do view you do enjoy, just like this one. And if you do enjoy it, of course leave a like below. But let's get into it now. And of course, as you can tell by the title, we're back for another all you need to know video, this time talking about Maidstone's latest permanent addition to the squad, a very experienced winger, Mark Marshall. Of course, Mark Marshall, 35 years of age. He's going to be 36 this year. He is contracted to play for Maidstone until the end of the season, I do believe. And of course, he can play on the left wing and the right wing. He is of Jamaican heritage as well. Not that that really makes any difference, but it's just an interesting little fact, you know, that you might want to have some sort of knowledge of. So, looking at the key characteristics of Mark Marshall, of course, a very experienced winger, someone who has been around the block. He's played for a plethora of clubs, including Bradford, Barnet, Gillingham. You know, these are some very big clubs, although some of us may disagree with the last one. And he has got over 400 professional games in his footballing career. Over 100 in League One, over 100 in League Two. So coming to us with an incredible amount of experience. And that is definitely not going to go unnoticed should he feature in games for us in the National League this season, or wherever we may end up next season should he stay with us. So as I say, key characteristics, what can we expect to see? Well, he's incredibly quick, very, very fast. He's quite short, 5'7" is what I've seen to find online, although some places, including Wikipedia, do say 6'1". Ignore that. Trust me, sorry Mark, but you're not quite there, I'm afraid. But 5'7", so he's very, very short in terms of your typical winger that Maidstone have seen of late. Of course, Ryan Galvin, quite tall. Christy Patson, quite tall. Sol Wanjao Smith, quite tall. So he's definitely adding a new dynamic to this team for Maidstone if he's playing on that left-hand side, which is very good for us. As I say, very, very quick. Definitely knows how to beat a man on a dribble. I've watched many of his highlights back from his time at Crawley, including some of his games at Bradford as well, and he looks fantastic. So obviously coming towards the end of his career now, taking that step down to the National League from Crawley, who are around the bottom of League Two, unfortunately for them. But, you know, the experience he's going to bring with that quality as well that we have seen in the past from Mark Marshall is going to benefit this Maidstone side. Even if he's not playing and he's just in the dressing room, having a older head in the dressing room is of course going to benefit us. He's won things as well. He's won promotions with teams, so, you know, I'm not saying we're going to do that this season, but next season you never know, we might need some of that there. So besides being very quick and quite a short player, what else has he got in his locker? Well, he is two-footed, or as close to it as it comes, really. Playing on the left and the right, of course, for as long as he has, of course, developed the ability to knock a ball in the goal and the box with both. If he does play on the left, he's more than capable of getting a ball in on his left foot, but he's also more than capable of cutting back onto his right foot, as you would have seen me talking about in my Josh Shonibare video, which if you haven't seen, I'll link in the top corner up there. Go and give that one a watch as well, find out about him in that all you need to know video. But yes, two-footed player, so it doesn't really matter where he's playing, and this is such a fantastic thing for players in football. Obviously, one of the reasons why Marshall would have done as well as he has done in his career up to this point. If you receive the ball and you're a two-footed player, you're not dominant on your right foot, so you don't have to worry about someone trying to close that avenue off for you before you've even received the ball, because obviously teams will do their research, know, oh, he's a right-footed player, never really takes a first touch on his left or offloads the ball on his left, so let's just clamp him down onto his right foot, force him onto his left, and then he'll make a mistake. Well, that's not really the case with Mark Marshall, of course, which bodes very well for us. He's great in tight spaces. As I said earlier, he's really good at beating people on the dribble, getting his way out of tricky situations, which we have seen this season already in just the few cameo performances he's had for the Stones against Oldham. Despite the loss, I thought he showed some really bright prospects in that game for the short amount of time that he did play. And of course, we will be seeing that throughout the rest of the season, I do hope. So looking at his career so far, obviously I mentioned he's played for quite a few big clubs. In his career, his two most prosperous seasons did involve 18 goal involvements and 16 goal involvements. So in the 10-11 season in League 2 with Barnet, he scored 6 goals and bagged 12 assists in 46 games in League 2, which of course, fantastic numbers, especially for us to have him now, albeit 10 years later, you never know. It does. You would assume maybe that quality would drop off, but just 4 or 5 years ago as well, he did get his second most prosperous season in his career. With Bradford in League 1 this time, which for me is a lot better. Obviously putting up very similar numbers to what he did with Barnet 5 years before that, but this time in a much better league with Bradford. He did get 6 goals, 10 assists in 42 games, which of course is really, really quite good. So definitely someone who's more than capable of contributing to goals. Last season for Crawley, he did end up playing 19 games, which of course seems like quite a lot. Why would you get rid of someone who's played 19 games for you? Well, he actually only did feature in 334 minutes, so very, very few amount of minutes for the games played. Obviously coming on as a substitute for the majority of those appearances. However, in just 334 minutes, he did have quite an impact as a substitute. He come on and made 4 assists in that time, which of course is averaging an assist pretty much every 75, 80 minutes off the bench as well, impact sub. So obviously that's a really good thing to have at Maidstone. Someone who can get the ball in the box, someone who can pick a player out who is gasping for a ball in with some quality on the end of it. So, you know, hopefully we might see him and Jack Barham link up a little bit in the latter stages of this season. Maybe Solwan Smith could get involved as well. Now he has returned to the side. But as I say, Mark Marshall coming in to this Maidstone side is someone who's very, very experienced, probably coming in to just try and help some of the players we've already got in terms of honing their ability and maybe providing a few tips off the field as well as on the field as well for Maidstone. It does seem at the moment that he's going to be a more of a rotational player, a bench player. As I say, latter stages of his career now. Maybe the engine's not quite what it once was, but he does seem to be very fit, does seem to be very mobile and agile as well. So looking forward to seeing more of him. Of course, we're seeing that technical side of him already, wiggling his way out of dodgy situations, managing to find good passes into players. So like I say, really looking forward to seeing what Mark Marshall can provide to this Maidstone team for the rest of the National League season. And of course, if we do manage to retain him for next season, I think he could be a really useful player for us, whether we do remain in the National League or if we do drop down back to the South. So thank you everyone for watching this video. As I said at the start, do subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get those numbers up as soon as possible because it just makes me feel a little bit better, of course. But again, thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.